Yeah. I'd like to just talk briefly about NFTs, because they've been, I think, is his name Beeple? The Beeple $69 million purchase through, I don't know the name of the auction house, but that's Christie's. Yes, that's right. So a lot of people are thinking, like, what the hell's the point in owning digitally, digital piece of art or anything really. There could be essays, papers, podcasts. Perhaps this podcast will be minted. Who knows? It'd be appropriate. So, what's your take on NFTs?
I think they're fantastic. So, an NFT is a non-fungible token. So, what is a fungible token? A fungible token is something like Bitcoin, where one Bitcoin I can give. If I've got one Bitcoin, I'll swap it for another Bitcoin. They're fungible in the same way that a dollar is fungible for another dollar. A non-fungible token is more like a property deed on a house. My house is not swappable for your house because they're different. Mine's blue, yours is yellow, or mine's got stairs, yours doesn't. So whenever you've got unique assets, you've got non-fungibility. So the whole idea of fungibility and non-fungibility, we've already got in the economy. Money, fungible, equities, or one BHP share is fungible for another BHP share, but BHP, the company, is not fungible for Rio Tinto, right? So what is a non-fungible? So a cryptocurrency is taking that fungible thing and moving it into the digital realm. A non-fungible token is the same thing. It's just saying we can do this for assets as well. We can have things in the real world that are, and give them digital property rights. A non-fungible token is a digital property right, or a digital record of ownership of a unique thing, where my artwork is an obvious non-fungible, but just most things are non-fungible. So what are NFTs? NFTs are the early stage experimentation of private property rights. At the moment, government provides property rights for providing a register. So you own your house. When I buy your house off you, how I know you own it is we go to the government register and it'll have your name next to that property deed number. That's how I know you own it. And then we write my name in and cross your name out, and now it's my house. Right, so that's how we deal with non-fungibility in asset registries and property rights. That's not a bearer asset. That's a centralized asset. There's a single registry, and each state has a registry of who owns. So first of all, we can only do this with things where we've got a list of all of the stuff. So we tend to do it with houses, property, cars. There's a register with, if you own a car, with your car registration VIN on it and then your name next to it, and that's how we know you own it. And when you sell it to me, we've got to update that registry. So that's expensive, it's slow, it works, but we only use it for some of the assets in an economy. There's many, many assets in an economy. This is mine, I can't prove it, other than the fact that I'm holding it. There's no registry that's got my name next to this. We could make an NFT of this, and then I could establish that this is mine, and when I give you this, I'll give you the NFT, and now you've got proof that it's yours, because there's a digital bearer asset that establishes that. So this is an experiment. NFTs are an experiment in what it means to create a private system of property rights. It's not an alternative parallel system. You could, create one yourself. So at the moment, these NFTs are private with respect to each blockchain. So the Ethereum blockchain has a record of various things. But note what's going on. The Ethereum blockchain is now playing the same role as the Australian government in terms of creating a single registry of proof about who owns the thing. The creation of NFTs is an entrepreneurial initiative to create a new type of institution that's a bearer asset, that when I give it to you, you've now got an ownership record. Now, I can verify that by looking at the blockchain. I can go to Block Explorer and look up and go, yeah, there it is. You can prove, and you've got your private key, so you can prove that it's yours. So you can do all the things that property rights can do. You can verify that it's yours independently. I can verify that it's yours independently. We can establish a unique proof of transfer by looking at the transfer of the asset on the blockchain. So we've got scarcity, we've got uniqueness, we've got now we have worry about whether this can be attacked or overwritten. So long as this blockchain is secure. So the Ethereum one I trust more than, say, Dogecoin as the foundation for this. But we could do NFTs on Dogecoin, and we can do NFTs on Ethereum, and this would be like Switzerland versus, I want to pick a broken country, Haiti or something like that, that maybe it's a bit more dodgy in terms of underlying property rights. So that's what NFTs are, a radical new experiment in the property rights part of base layer infrastructure of an economy. It wasn't, they were invented by CryptoKitties? CryptoKitties.
Oh, CryptoPunk.
Yeah. CryptoPunk actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that was the first one, right? That was a wild experimentation. You go, that's digital cats on the blockchain. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yes, but it was the first experiment in creating peer-to-peer digital property rights that could potentially apply to anything you attach that cat to. NFTs are the generalization of that. We go, wow, we can do that for art. I've now got colleagues going, wow, we could do that for our academic papers. We can do it for anything we want to establish a digital property right that can be transferred, that is made of something digital that can be transferred and create ownership. Now, if we can create ownership, we can create finance. I can now finance this. I can create contracts. I can create futures contracts. So I can now start to build a venture capital model around my podcast ownership or my artwork. And what can I do? I'm able to build a new financing model for the creative industries. What happens when I sell my artwork? I've now reinvented the resale royalty scheme, because I can have a trailing commission where everyone who previously owned it will get a fraction of whatever the new value is. And at the moment we do that with a government department in Canberra that does a statistical sample of a collection of mostly high-value artworks. We limit it at $1,000 and above. There's a whole lot of stuff doesn't get included. Every time we do it, it costs about $400 to administer that thing. So basically, it doesn't work, right? NFTs, we can fix resale royalties. We can fix finance, we can create low-cost venture finance for the art sector. We can basically reinvent the economic institutions of finance, property rights, ownership transfer, retail, trailing commissions, and so on, all without ever mentioning the word intellectual property, lawyers, accountants, government bureaucrats running large arts administration and agencies. We haven't politicized it. We don't have to have a committee that votes on which one gets in. I've just made a very low-cost infrastructure to provide all of the things that we wanted. How do I finance this? How do I establish ownership? How do I establish transfer? How do I pay off all the people that contributed to it? And how do I do this for basically 37 cents of gas fees, or maybe $12 or whatever it is. But and how do I do it in such a way that I'm absolutely confident that this is safe and hasn't been hacked and isn't been corrupted and works globally? It doesn't just work. So, I mean, I've painted a very rosy picture there. But that's the vision, right? Now, whether that actually works in reality or we just end up with lots of spam cats on the internet, there's the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. But that's what NFTs are. NFTs are an experiment in digital property rights, and we haven't had an experiment in property rights since 1066, right? It's been a long time since we've really tried to. Not 1066, maybe 1632, the invention of copyright. So it's been a long time between innovations in this space, but we just got 12 of them yesterday, and a whole bunch of it recently. So very exciting times for innovation. I mean, the whole theme of this talk has been innovation in institutions. It's just that how this used to be wildly expensive. You used to have to build a country and start an army and defend yourself and create a parliament and then a media, and then you could build institutions. Now, some code. Cool. We can at very low cost innovate in institutions, which means we can potentially find some new ones on that sort of landscape. And we can search the institutional landscape and try and find some better ones, or cheaper ones, or faster ones, or ones that fit better, or and it may well turn out that lots of the ones we've currently got are pretty good, and they just need some digital enhancement.